Welcome back to the NRL Punters Weekly Digest, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know leading into this week's NRL matches. We're finally here. The NRL finals for season 2021, and the regular season couldn't have closed in any more of a dramatic fashion. Remember in last week's show, if you were watching, I said the most unlikely of scenarios. You can almost kind of put a red line through it. It's not going to happen. The Gold Coast Titans are going to make the finals. In order for that to happen, they need a lot of things to go their way. And lo and behold, it happened. The Raiders failed on Thursday night. The Sharks failed on Friday night. Then the Titans got their crack on the weekend. And on top of that, they didn't just have to beat the Warriors. They had to beat them by a margin. I think it was around the 20-point mark. And they won 44-0. 44-0 to breeze into that 8th place spot. And to break the hearts of a lot of Raiders and Sharks fans, but you know what? Did they deserve to be in the finals? I don't think so. I don't think either of those sides deserve to play finals football. Losing records. Do I think the Titans deserve to play finals football either? Probably not, but they got the job done. They did what needed to be done. And now we have our final series. We've got our top 8, which we're going to talk about shortly. But before we go into this week's Week 1 final games and their corresponding previews, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do so now and turn on your notifications so you know when I'm dropping new content. And if you like the video, give me a like. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. All right, before we get into Week 1 final preview, let's have a recap of my tips from last week. So I tipped the Raiders. They did not win. I tipped the Storm and the Panthers. They were locks. They got through. Knights did not win. The Broncos got up in a great effort from them. Great way to finish the season for the Broncos. Seagulls got up, of course. Dragons lost. Warriors and Tigers. I tipped 3 in my final regular season round of tipping. It was my worst week to date. It was absolutely disgraceful. But you know what? You probably can't put too much into that because a lot of the top sides were resting players. It was a bit of a nothing kind of week for them. And obviously you had 3 teams scrambling for that 8th place spot who were playing with everything to play for. But aside from the Titans, really just almost playing like they were making up the numbers, we'll say. In terms of the anytime try scorers last week, if you were paying attention, I tipped 12 from 24. So 50% of my tips went through if you were backing any of my anytime try scorers. I got Harley Smith-Shields, Ryan Pappenhausen, Sione Katoa, Brian To'o, Anara Tuwala, Selwyn Cobbo, Tommy Turbo, Jason Saab, Ruben Garrick. I got all my Seagulls anytime try scorers, but you know what? I kind of feel like that was a cheat code because it was their back 3 that scored tries, because they always do. Campbell Graham, Jaden Campbell, and Corey Allen were who I tipped for my anytime try scorers. Okay, first game of Week 1 of this 2021 Telstra NRL Final Series sees the Storm take on the Seagulls in what I think is going to be a cracker of a game. Now, last time these two sides played each other, it was in round 21 and the Storm won 28-18. So they've got form going into this fixture, and well, in terms of head-to-head clashes between the two sides, and form-wise identical. 4-1 over the last 5 rounds are both the Seagulls and the Storm. In terms of team changes for both these sides, there are a heap for the Storm because they rested a bunch of players in round 25. And for the Seagulls, just the solitary change with Josh Alloway returning at prop, which pushes Tuafofoa Sipley to the reserves. Now, in the betting stakes, not surprisingly, you'll get the Storm at $1.37 and you'll get $3.15 for the Seagulls. If you think that they can upset the Storm, I think it's going to be a really tough ask. In the anytime try scorer stakes, I've got Remus Smith at $2.75, Pappy at $2.15, and Jason Saab at $2.20. Notice I didn't put Turbo in there. And I didn't put him in there because he struggled in the last outing against the Storm. I think this is going to be a really low-scoring contest, and I don't think he's going to get on the board. That's my bold prediction. My bold prediction for this game is that Tommy Turbo will not score. I am tipping the Storm to win this one by 7 points. And if you like the 1 to 12 for the Storm, $2.90, which I think are really, really good odds there. Second game of this first week of finals sees the Roosters take on the Titans. Last time these two teams met was in round 14, and the Roosters just edged the Titans by 1 point. That was a 35-34 win. In terms of form for both these sides, Roosters 3-2, Titans 2-3. And when we're looking at team changes for the Roosters, Jared Warrior-Hargraves and Victor Radley return to the starting pack, which pushes Isaac Liu and Egan Butcher to the bench. And Fletcher Baker joins the interchange bench also. For the Titans, huge boost for them with their captain Kevin Proctor returning from injury via the second row, which means that Sam McIntyre drops to the reserves. I think I'm going to make a bold claim for this game. I think the Titans are going to win this one. I do think they're going to win it, and it's not because they beat the Warriors 44-0, although that form couldn't have come at a better time for them. Surely they're brimming with confidence. A lot of people won't be expecting them to win. A lot of people won't be expecting them to do anything in this final series. So, in a way, there's a lot of that pressure off their backs. So they can just go out there and play football, enjoy themselves. In the betting market, you'll get $1.24 for the Roosters, which I think is a little bit too short, to be fair. Given the adversity they've had to face this year, I kind of feel like they might be kind of running close to on empty. At least that's what I'm hoping for the sake of my tip. And if you like the Titans, $4.10 I think are great odds. Anytime try scorers, I've got Matt Ikavalu at $1.62 for the Roosters, Jaden Campbell, son of Preston, at $2.70, and David Fafita. For some reason, the kid likes coming off the bench. $3 if you like him for an anytime try scorer. He scored 2 last week, I believe. If you like Titans 1 to 12, like I do, $5.50. Great odds. Whack that into a multi with an anytime try scorer and you're gold. That's what I'd be doing. And I think the Titans will win this one by 4 points. Third game of this first week of finals sees the Panthers take on the Rabbitohs from Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So that's the second of the doubleheader there from North Queensland. So if you're in Townsville and you haven't already gotten tickets to these games, I don't know if they're sold out or not, but definitely head up there. A great doubleheader of finals football. How often are you going to see that in Townsville? Never. You'll never see a doubleheader of finals football in Townsville, possibly ever again, unless we have more lockdowns. But I couldn't see it happening. Get out there, support, even if it's not your team, because the Cowboys aren't in the finals. Go out there and support rugby league. Great football to be watched. Panthers, Rabbitohs. Last time these two teams played each other was in round 23. Now, the Panthers seem to have the wood over the Rabbitohs of recent times. They beat the Rabbitohs 25-12 on that day. And then back in round 11, they also beat the Rabbitohs 56-12. So they really put them to the sword there. Form-wise for the Panthers, they won their last 5 games. They've been superb. They've only dropped 3 games all season. And for the Rabbitohs, they're 4-1. So obviously very good form for them also. In the head-to-head market, you get $1.23 for the Panthers and $4.20 for the Bunnies. I don't see the Bunnies winning this game, but if you think that they're a chance, those are some cracking odds there at $4.20. Anytime try scorers, I've got Brian Toa at $1.65, Matt Burton $2.20, Alex Johnston $2.15. And I think the Panthers are going to win this one comfortably. In fact, I'm saying 13 points. And if you like that 13 plus for the Penny Panthers, $2 is what you'll get. Last game of week 1 of the final sees the Eels take on the Newcastle Knights. Parramatta should have been in the top 4. They were entrenched in the top 4 for 3/4 of the season, and they just kind of lost their way of recent times. Found a little bit of form, if you will, just kind of scarce form, I'm going to say. The Melbourne performance was outstanding, but then they back it up last week by resting 1 million players and not going on with that momentum. Depending on what side of the fence you sit on, you might go, okay, well, they needed to rest those players to be ready for the finals. That game didn't matter anyway. On the flip side, you might say, hey, they had some really good momentum riding through that Storm game. Do you not want to maybe just keep that going into the finals? I don't know. There was also an opportunity for them to make the top 4, which they really well and truly squandered by not giving themselves any shot against the Storm side, which was brimming with talent, showing up with a side full of rookies, basically. Last time these two teams played each other was in round 13, and the Eels destroyed the Knights. Remember, back then, that's when the Eels were in the top 4, and they were in outstanding form. They won 40-4. And in their past 5 games, the Eels are 2-3, and the Knights are 4-1. So Knights in a bit of form over the last 5 weeks. In terms of team changes for both sides, you'll need to refer to the team lists. There are a million changes. And sorry, I just remembered that I forgot to mention the team changes for the prior game. Please refer to the team lists for those team changes. In the betting markets, you'll get $1.38 for the Panthers, for the Eels, which I think is fair. You'll get $3.10 for the Knights. And anytime try scorers, I've got Clint Gutherson at $2.10. Blake Ferguson at $1.72 and Heimel Hunt at $2.30. I am tipping the Eels to win this one by 8 points, and if you like them 1-12, you will get $2.90. That's all I've got for you for this first week of NRL finals for season 2021. I've got another video dropping tomorrow, which is my Pretenders v Contenders video, which I promised a couple of weeks back, who I think is really in the mix to win the comp versus who isn't in the mix to win the comp. And maybe I'm on the fence with some teams. You'll have to wait and see. And obviously watch the video to find out what I cover in that episode. And hopefully I will see you in that episode.